CashFlow Diary Podcast, episode 376.
Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the CashFlow Diary Podcast, the podcast that teaches you insider tips, tactics, and strategies for creating leverage streams of cash flow into your life. Learn from top-performing entrepreneurs, business owners, investors, and thought leaders from across the globe as they share their secrets to success. Like what you learn on this and other CashFlow Diary podcast episodes? Go to learninvestingnow.com and sign up to receive powerful tips and information that will help you succeed as an entrepreneur and investor. Now, here's your host, investor, entrepreneur, business owner, educator, speaker, author, and master facilitator of Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow game, Jay Massey.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the CashFlow Diary Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Massey, and I'm glad that you're here today because I think today is a monumental day. One for me, but definitely for you, and I think 3 for the world. Why am I being so dramatic? Because we have today an example that I've always been telling you guys that you know we should be looking for, and I hope you spread this particular episode far and wide, because his story needs to be told and it needs to be heard. Now, today's guest has a couple of great distinctions. Chief among them, well, he's probably the first guest that's actually taller than me, which is great. But what does that mean? I have with me today former professional NBA player Mark Blount. Now, you're like, that's great. An NBA guy. What is that? How is that going to help build cash flow? Well, he's one of the ones that has made the transition. He started out as a player, but figured out how to play a new game after he got to play his passion for a number of years with a number of teams. And what I'm really excited about is to hear his journey. More importantly, learn the lessons of financial responsibility, financial education, how to build cash flow from none other than Mark Blount. Mark, how you doing?
Doing great, Mr. J. Massey. Thanks for having me. Appreciate all the love.
You're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. So here's what I'm thinking right now. First of all, yes, you are I think, if I'm not mistaken, you were definitely the first guest that's taller than me. But because this is the first time you are here on the show, I have to ask you the same question I tend to ask everybody else. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So I tend to look at today's entrepreneurs a lot like yesterday's superheroes. What do I mean by that? I think entrepreneurs and superheroes have a ton of things in common. Chief among them is that, occasionally as an entrepreneur, we think in our head that we are putting on cape and tights and saving our customers with our products and services, etc. Also, like a superhero, an entrepreneur has a beginning. Meaning, if you think about Spider-Man for a second, there was a time where, yes, we know him as Spider-Man, but he was originally just a college student taking photos for the newspaper, trying to make the ends of months come together so that he could eat. So my question to you is as follows. So before your franchises, before your real estate, before the work you do with Toys for Tots, before even the NBA, what we want to know is, who is Mark Blount?
Mark Blount grew up in New York.
Okay.
Yonkers, New York, and worked his way down to Somerville, South Carolina. And during that period of time, Mark Blount was trying to figure out who Mark Blount was going to be at 12 years old. And, over the years of just staying after school and playing basketball and trying to figure it all out. That's where it all started coming together around 13, 14 years old that I think I can do this. So for the superhero part of it, that's why kids love superheroes, because they're amazing and they set a goal and they complete the task. So that's why I looked at the goal of becoming an NBA player and kept working until I got there.
Indeed. Well, and you've got the distinction. I bet you there's been a number of people who really looked at you as that superhero. Yes.
Oh, definitely. It's never even at 41. My old age, they still be able to torture me every day. But it's not the it's not the basketball. It's just the character. It's the way you carry yourself. They see it. It's a part of the whole. It's part of the whole package.
Yeah, indeed. So let me ask the question that I believe is on everybody's mind, and I know it's on mine, if not theirs. Is what did you do? Why were you able to make such a successful transition? Whereas the news often reminds us of how many unsuccessful transitions there are. What was different?
Well, I thought about it. I was a year off after retirement. I was doing my sabbatical during that time, and thinking about what's the next step. What's the next step? And started researching and spent several months after my sabbatical just looking into some of the franchises I was going to get into. The real estate was an accident. I was actually trying to help somebody find a place, and I was able to get several buildings at one time. So that was just a fluke that I got through. And then during that time, that's why I was able to put it all together. I was a little bit of a madman running 5 small companies at one time, but oh well, that's what we do. Superheroes do,
I do, and I get it 100%. So now, just so you know, there's a number of people who are listening right now who are probably like upset that you quote unquote stumbled into a whole bunch of buildings. Just so you know, so just between me and you and a few thousand people, it's okay. Please break that down a little bit. Tell them there was some sort of skill or something involved. Tell us that story, if you would.
I wish I could tell you it was some kind of skill. I was helping a buddy find a duplex. And I said, look, I'll help you out. I know you're struggling. I'll get the front one. I'll rent it out. You stay in the back. Well, the realtor took me on the street, and, it was just with the bubble. And during that period of time, it was like 2010, 2011 when I started that real estate deal. And I went over there, and they're like, he's got 6 more buildings. I was like, what? They're like, yeah, they're under. It's like, I could have all 7? She's like, yeah, you could have all 7. And the buddy looked at me, you want 7 buildings? I'm like, yeah, I'll take all of them. And I bought them all.
There it is. That's just, it's like shopping for groceries. You know what? Bananas were on sale today. I didn't know what else to do. You buy the bananas. All right. I got it. So before that though, let's talk about after. Now, when you buy those properties though, what were some of the lessons that you have learned? How did you even know that those properties were the ones you should buy? I mean, because again, as a former player, you spend most of your time focused on playing the game, but it sounds like you've done some things, to help prepare yourself to be able to recognize opportunity and know how to strike.
I put together a good team of when I started down the path, I already prepared myself to put a team of accountants and lawyers together, and they were able to help me out and find people to give me information to make the decision. Being able to acquire those buildings, they were built in '62. They were built for flood. They were built for hurricane. So that was pretty much a no-brainer in Florida. And then the insides needed to be gutted, and then that was the process of understanding budgeting and getting in and doing work on my own that I had to learn day by day. Just being able to drywall this and that and stuff like that. Then working with the city, code enforcement. It was definitely interesting, but I enjoyed it.
Got it. Now, so that I'm clear, when you say doing the work on your own, did you actually put up drywall yourself?
I put up drywall. I did everything. Me and my buddy did everything except for because I'm an owner builder, so I own the property, so I was able to work there. So I was able to do a lot of stuff. I was taught a lot of stuff. I was able to do a lot of stuff, and then I did everything except for the roof, electrical, and AC and plumbing. Other than that, I did the drywall and we put up the kitchen cabinets and all that stuff. So.
Nice. Did you put a little badge on it, an original Mark Blount piece right here afterwards?
I wanted to take a lot of photos and lay on the floor I was like Burt Reynolds back in the day, but I didn't do that.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So this is interesting. So talk to me for a moment. As you're going through that, did anyone of your former, teammates, et cetera, were they trying to understand what you were doing? Did that help them want to make the transition? Because the bug had to come from somewhere. The idea of, hey, I got to do something, real estate, it had to come from somewhere. And I'm curious as to how it influenced those that were around you as well.
Well, while I was playing, I was renting homes. I was, personally, I bought 2 homes in Florida. So, after dealing with contractors and all this stuff, and some of the home sales, I was involved personally. I thought it was a good fit for me. Just be able to learn how to do things, and then being able to be my own general contractor on the job, and figure it out and budget it and go from there. So that was more of ego in taking on that task.
Nice. Totally understood. So how do you go from real estate then? Because there's this transition period where you're going from real estate over to franchises. What was that like?
No, I was doing everything one time.
Seriously, man?
I was searching for locations. I was traveling to corporate, doing, I had to, you got to go to training. I was training. I was doing everything one time.
Because you just like being overly busy?
No, just I don't want to fail. I don't want to. I started. I got to finish it. I got to complete it. I got to make it work. That's just that's my to-do list.
Interesting. So, would you say then, if I said the phrase "if it's to be, it's up to me," that's kind of something you embody?
Exactly, because at that point in time, people were dependent on me. For some of the, for the franchises, employees are counting on me, corporate's counting on me to do, all that. So, I take all that and I feel all that, you know what I mean?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. I got a few hundred units and myself and a whole bunch of stuff going on. So yes, I get that, but which I think puts you in the perfect position to ask to answer this question, because I know there's a number of entrepreneurs or would-be entrepreneurs listening who are kind of afraid of that responsibility that you're talking about right there. They're like, man, I don't know if I can handle people depending on me. What if I fail? Did that thought ever occur to you?
No.
Of course not. Why would it?
I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to go get it and make it happen. And this is I took on the project, and my buddies were like, you got 7 buildings, you got 14 duplexes. Mm-hmm. You got to rip them all out. You're going to build them back. What is your time frame? 1 year. He's like, geez.
Right.
He's like, we're going to die. I said, oh, well.
Yes, indeed. But you're okay with that pressure.
I'm okay with that. We did it.
Do you think, okay, so then I have to ask this. In what ways did your experience as an NBA player prepare you for business? Just preparing.
What
do you mean?
Just, every year you got to prepare for the season. You got to get ready. The season's over. You got to come back, add more stuff to your game. You got to be ready to adapt. Maybe you won't start this year. Maybe you'll be coming off the bench. So it's preparing yourself and preparing your mind and your body to get ready. That was every year in the NBA.
Yeah.
And then,
okay.
So being able to transition that over to business, where this is easy, man. I don't have to get on the plane and go to Cleveland. I don't have to go to Phoenix. I don't have to go to Miami. I come in every day at 5 a.m. if I want to and make sure this thing gets done. So
wow. Okay, I just want to make sure I heard this really accurately. You just said that business is easier than the NBA. One of the interesting things about life, about business, about the things that you are trying to do is that oftentimes what you've done in your past can help you be informed about the future. Simply meaning, you say to yourself, I want to be this entrepreneur. I want to start in real estate. I want to do these things, but I've never sold before. I don't know the first thing about the money and all of these other questions that can run through the back of your head. Who's going to listen to me even? These are the things that we tell ourselves. Yet there's evidence surrounding us all the time that our prior quote unquote life actually applies to our future. For example, if you're a parent, if you've ever gotten your kids to go to bed on time, guess what? You probably got some skills here that will work. Interestingly, one of the best things to understand is that what you have already done should actually contribute to your future. So instead of thinking of yourself as starting at, 0, think maybe you're at least at level 1. Now, let's get back to the rest of the story.
Some days I'm getting praised in the NBA. Some days I'm getting ridiculed. In real estate, some days my tenants praise me. Sometimes they ridicule me. It's the same thing. I just gotta go. You know what I mean?
I do, and I'm learning that there's actually more similarities than differences. Is what that's what it hears. That's what I'm hearing, right?
Exactly.
Because if you're and what I really like about your story is that you're just pretty much building a different team, you changed your position instead of, being a player on the court, or if you're more like a general manager in the office. But you're a general manager that look, if I have to come down and play, I will do that. That's what I'm hearing.
Exactly. If, I never put hurricane windows in, but if you show me 2 or 3 times, I'm sure I can do it. And I did it, so.
I like it. Okay. All right. So now you're associated with not one, but 2 completely different franchises. Most people go one and maybe get multiple locations with that one, and they're like, okay, I'm good. But that's not good enough for you. So please explain the reasoning behind continuing to push so hard.
I just, I don't understand mediocrity. I just go and just get it done. I just seize it. That's it. I want it, and I go after it. And going finding a franchise where I really don't know anything about cooking. I really don't know about this. So I really had to tone it down to something simple. And then it came. The Annie Ann's came to me, quick baking, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. If I had to get in there and make pretzels, I can do that too. So I was like, okay, let me check it out. And I checked it out, and I roamed around and looked at some locations and talked with their people. And that's it. They were like, you shouldn't do this. I was like, let's do it anyway. And I bought 2 locations.
He's like, you know what? I get the sense, Mark, as I'm talking to you, you wake up on a Monday and go, I think I want a KFC. I'll just buy the whole place. That's what I'm hearing. And you just go and you're not really concerned about the outcome as much as you're concerned about understanding that I'll figure it out along the way. And a number of people are afraid to be that way. Where do you think that comes from for you?
Well, just, I was 2nd round pick, and I spent a few years in the minor leagues, CBA and a couple lower leagues before then too. So I knew the, the tenacity would never leave me. And I just wanted to be able to, put that same energy, because I'm sitting there. And I'm 35 years old, 36 years old, and I still got an energy, and I still got a fire, and I need to release it. Not just because I'm not playing anymore. I still need to find avenues to be able to torture people. So that's what I did.
You're just having fun through life, and I like it. And that's good. That's good. So let's talk serious for a minute. When it comes down to, just everybody in general, what would you say have been some of the basic financial lessons that you've learned that have helped you to experience the success that you've had? Not just as one of the few NBA players or sports players or professional sports or professional athletes that have managed to make a transition, but just in general as a business owner, what are some of the basic things that now that you know them, you're like, how come I didn't learn this earlier?
Yeah, definitely. Just as business owner, acquiring assets for the company, that was very eye-opening for me, and being able to have those was very important. And then, being younger and playing in the NBA, I didn't realize, they weren't the stuff I had around me, because it is just junk and stuff, was just liabilities was taken from me. So those were the first two things I learned. Adding things to the property, and making it look sexy and attractive for the tenants and stuff like that. That was some of the stuff I learned, and being able to continue that into the franchises and stuff like that was very, very, very helpful. And it kept me going, and gave me a fire, and kept me going. And I was able to, last year I was able to sell my franchises and sell my real estate, and being able to do that was making sure I had a great product to move on and do something else. But if I didn't have those assets in those companies, I don't think I would have got the buyers I needed to sell my ventures and be able to move on to do some different stuff now.
Got it. Totally makes perfect sense. Now, most people, myself included, we tend to think of success and business as a long journey, and that's true. But you also talk about the possibility for short-term success. Could you explain that a little bit?
Yes, for me, I'm always interested in new things, and I'm more of making sure the business is right, making sure the business is running, make sure the business is bringing in the cash, and moving forward in the right direction. And then, like I've been in the last 4 or 5 years, like, all right, I don't want to sell pretzels and Cinnabons no more. I want to do something else. So, short-term success for me is, okay, I made my money. Let's see what's out there. Oh, we like your store. Okay, here we go. We're able to make a deal. So, for me, it's getting in and getting out on some things. Not everything is. It's definitely beneficial to entrepreneurs out there.
Got it. So, what would you say if I said, okay, Mark, tell us what's next. What's the next? I guess in your case, let's go with 3-year plan, because it'll probably change after that.
Probably will.
I like it. This is good. But what do you see as what's next for you? What's that opportunity that you're really excited about when you wake up in the morning that's going to keep you pushing as hard as you are?
Well, I'm still going to do stuff with the kids, and and be able to help them with information and help them grow, and teach them about their bodies and nutrition and stuff like that. With my 7 Wellness that I started last year camp, I'm going to do that. And then I think I know a lot of the stuff is rising in prices, but I think I'm going to get back into real estate deal, and try to not only make money, but try to inform individuals on some of the homes they're buying, and I think the most important thing is giving the new home buyers, first-time home buyers, the information on the certain products around the house. You look at HGTV and all that stuff, that shows them how to do it. But I think there's a chance for me to have somebody that's been there, done it, put his hands in the dirt and done it himself, to be able to, feel and touch me and be standing in their new home and like, look at this, you need to do this, and stuff like that. And that's probably some of the things I want to get into next.
Got it. Excellent. This makes perfect sense to me. So when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, as you look at, the horizon of business and people and even those players and otherwise that are making decisions about their future, how important would you say it's been or would be for them to start a business, think about real estate? Is it optional in your mind?
For them, I wouldn't advise players unless they really have somebody that they trust and love to start a business with and be able to make it grow. I'm more of old school. I need to be there every day. I need to see what you're doing, and I need to know what's going on. So that's the way I am.
Yep, I like it. I like it. I get that. I mean, staying close is there's something to be said for that, and it makes perfect sense. I totally understand that 100%. So with all of that being said, let's pretend for a second that there's a player listening, wondering about, hey, what my future looks like. What would you tell that person to do?
Your future looks like whatever you want it. You got to get up and go get it. I mean, that's I can't get it for you, but you got to get up with you got to find a passion that you feel passionate about. And I think that's the first and foremost. That's what I would start with the player. What are we passionate about? What do you know about? What do you like? And I think that I'll start with that, and we'll be able to talk about some different things.
Indeed. Totally understood. Well, with all of that being said, I got a question to ask you because I'm curious. But before we get there, what I want to do is I want to give you an opportunity because I know you've got some new things going, and there's some people who are listening right now that might actually want to reach out and make contact and be able to get some more specific questions answered about their own journey. What's going to be the best way for them to catch up with you, to find out more about what you got going on, and just in general, stay in contact?
Well, my email is Mark, M-A-R-K, at markblount30, BLOUNT.com. And my website is markblount30. And they can go check me out, but definitely email and send me an email, and we can be in touch. And if you have any questions or what we can do, and we'll keep moving forward from there.
Got it. So here's that final question that I was thinking about. Let's pretend for a moment that someone's listening and is on the edge, because I think your answer is going to be awesome. They're on the edge of making that decision. They want to be an entrepreneur. They want to put on their superhero tights and cape. They could even be standing in front of what I've like to call the superhero outfit store. However, Mark, like I know, that oftentimes when we make those decisions of how great we're going to be and what the futures look like, there's this other voice that is with us occasionally that tells us what we can't do, why we can't do it. And for some people, they're actually related to that voice. And these are things, that's the reality of what they have to deal with. So my question to you is as follows. If someone listening right now is actually going to follow through on your advice on getting started or growing their cash flow, what would you say is like the first 3 things that they would need to do?
First of all, building your cash flow. What are you about to get involved in? Is the market already flooded with that product or what you're about to do? I think that's one of the big mistakes a lot of the first individuals do. They get in there and that brand, that concept has already been tapped out already. So I think that's the first and foremost. And then second of all, cash flow. How are you looking for, employees, rent, if not rent, gas for your food truck. I mean, all this needs to be, ironed out at least for, 1 to 3 years out if you're really serious about making money in your new venture. And then I think the third, employees, making sure that your team is solid from the top all the way down to the bottom. And, those are the three things I think will be beneficial for entrepreneurs looking for new things or being able to get into something, a new venture.
Indeed. Well, what I want to say is I definitely appreciate the example that you have set and the path that you are laying down. And I certainly hope more professional athletes follow it for sure. And thank you for taking the time to share your knowledge, your insight, as well as your wisdom here with us today at the Cashflow Diary.
Mr. J. Massey, thank you for having me, brother.
You are quite welcome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It's time for you to move at the speed of instruction. What does that mean? That means get over to Mark Blount 30. Why? Because you heard something that inspired you or will inspire someone you know. So feel free to share this episode because at the end of the day, if we all go out there and become entrepreneurs, a rising tide lifts all boats. So let's go get it done. It's been fun talking to you guys today. I look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.